Once again, we continue with more wrestling coming from all varieties of promotions from across the world. We got a 2-day event by Gatoh Move's ChocoPro. We got the road to Dontaku Wrestling by New Japan Pro Wrestling. And of course, the latest AEW Elevation. So all of that will be reviewed and discussed about on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, matches, wrestlers, and championships. I'm your host, J-Rod here. Now, before I begin reviewing all these events that I covered, I want to give you guys the heads up. Apparently I'm more behind than I expected, apparently, because I still haven't covered the GCW Collective, which is the independent shows that go on throughout the entire WrestleMania weekend. And of course, I still am behind with other wrestling shows from Japan, and I'm trying desperately to keep up because right now I'm still covering WrestleMania. But of course, there's the certain changes that started this past this last week with, of course, Impact Wrestling moving to Thursdays, and this will be the final. The day today is Tuesday, April 13th. I will do Tuesday wrestling. I'll do that tonight, but I'm not sure. I'll probably be uploading that till morning or so. And then, of course, we got AEW and hopefully MLW. If not, I'll just throw in some other events that will fill up the void. But for now, let's just do what I have right now with Gatoh Move Pro Wrestling and others. So let's do that right now. All right. Since I mentioned Gatoh Move Pro Wrestling, they did a 3-day event in throughout the entire from Saturday to Monday. But the Saturday event took place in Kawasaki at the Pro Wrestling Heat Up Dojo. But they decided to go back to their actual place where they did their shows. So I'm doing ChocoPro 105 and 106. But let's do 105 first. Three matches they have. This took place on the 11th of April. First match, we got Rin Rin taking on Mei Shiruga. Now, this match was pretty much a little bit girlish, but however, as you know, Mei Shiruga has this aggressiveness that, you know, she puts out. And of course, that's why they call her the Big Apple. But of course, Rin Rin, I don't know much about her, but Mei Shiruga, I have seen her a lot. But I can tell you right now, that Mei Shiruga won that match with an amazing pinfall, as she normally does. But of course, I like it how she likes to jump off the damn window. So that's pretty fun. Next match, we got Chikoi Shikawa taking on Ayume Hayashi. Now, Ayume Hayashi, she seems like a very tough one. More, I look at Ko Shikawa. She's more of a mellow type of person, like too happy. But that's okay. That's how she rolls. But when I look at Hayashi, she is a bit of aggressiveness with this tough girl attitude, that type, which I like. And it did allow her to win her match, but I enjoyed it a whole lot. So she won her match. Now we get to a tag team match. We got Lulu, the leader of the Pencil Army, teaming up with one half of the Super Asian Tag Team Champions, Balianaki, taking on Chon Shiru and Psycho. Now, Psycho, if you guys don't know who he is, he's from the 666 promotion, which is the hardcore. But of course, I don't know why Emi Sakura brought him. Chon, I've seen him a lot, but from what I can see in this particular match, Shiru and Sako were more of the dominant in this team because Lulu Penzo is also too girlish the way I see it, but she is a capable wrestler, like, you know, taking care of business. But however, you cannot stop the power of Psycho, but also the ability of Shiru, who is kind of like a kung fu master. But it did allow them to win their match. Now let's go to their following day, which is ChocoPro 106, which took place on the 12th of April. First match is Chi Kiyoshikawa taking on Balianaki. This match was looking more into Balianaki's corner because Balianaki is a bit more aggressive than she is, because I've seen him how he's determined to win his matches. As you know, he is one half of the Super Asian Tag Team Champions with Meishiruga, his best bro. But it kind of ended in a submission, kind of like similar to the lock that Bobby Lashley does, but it was effective, so it did allow him to win his match. Next match, we got Ayumi Yashi taking on Meishiruga. This one was a bit more aggressive because apparently they were using all kinds of toys around the place. They were tossing her. Meishiruga was being tossed to outside the ring, or should I say outside the mat, throwing some balls, all this other stuff. Even Balianaki, who's the ref, had to tell her, calm down, calm down. Of course, because she gets a bit aggressive, but she always gets her job done, and that's what she does. If you piss her off, she kind of goes off. And of course, Balianaki has to be the one to calm her down. So, but this attitude did allow Meishiruga to win. Next match, we got the Pencil Army, Lulu Pencil, and of course, Chris Brooks, taking on Psycho, and of course, another friend of his, Chango. Now, I've seen this guy, Chango, in Active Advanced Pro Wrestling, which is formerly known as Kaientai. I didn't expect to see him, but the way I see it, Psycho and Chango were two of the most aggressive wrestlers in this, and it did allow them to win their match. So kind of felt pointless to say, okay, they're gonna win it because they're aggressive, you know. Lulu is kind of like a little bit girlish, but I don't know if she ever won any matches, but I gotta look back through their archives and see what happens. But it was a good event. Nothing compared like they did with Hikaru Shida, who was the guest ref. But even though Emi Sakura is out of action for a while because of her injury on her arm, still don't know when she'll be back, but I can't wait to see her. But for now, I'll end it right here. Let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling, the road to Dontaku Wrestling. Okay, so New Japan just began the road to Dontaku Wrestling. I was unable to find any footage from the 11th of April, but I do have seen the 10th of April event, which had 5 matches. But 2 of them are longer because they're both elimination matches. So let's go from start to finish to get to that. First match is a Young Lions match between Gabriel Kidd and Yota Tsuji. Now, as you know, I mentioned before, Yota Tsuji is on the verge of graduating, but he needs that big match that would help him to go on excursion. And that match that he's asking and desiring is Tetsuya Naito. Naito is telling him, tranquilo, but still no word for it. But however, Tsuji continues to impress many others with his ability. I don't know where is he going to go for excursion. Either is he going to go to Mexico or UK, because I do know that Shota Umino, his excursion went up to the UK. Ren Narita is also an excursion in LA, but don't know where he's going to go. But I can't wait to see where he's going to. But it did allow him to win his match. Next match is a 6-man tag team match. We got Suzuki-gun, Minoru Suzuki, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Desperado taking on Yuya Uemura and Roppongi 3K Sho and Yo. Now, it's no come to surprise that maybe Roppongi 3K approached the Yuya Uemura to be part of the match, because he's the one guy who can stand up against Minoru Suzuki, but apparently it's still not enough. It did allow for Suzuki-gun to exploit the injury that Yo attained, tried to take him out, or trying to ensure that either he gets injured or had to relinquish the titles. But even when they won the match, they even continued to break him in half. But Sho was able to save him. We do know Despy and Connemara will have a rematch for those titles very soon. Next match is another 6-man tag team match. We got Suzuki-gun members Doiki, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi taking on Bullet Club members Yato and the GOD, the Guerrillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga, and Tangaloa. Now, as you know the history between these two teams, it was GOD who defeated the Dangerous Takers Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. But however, the thing that kind of became a focal in their lives was the bloody iron fingers. Yes, Ishika left it to Taichi, and he actually basically is controlling them. But the top executive came up with the perfect solution. They're going to have that thing in a ladder match. I'm like, huh? Yeah, you heard me. A ladder match. But however, the way this match ended was impressive. All three of the people of Suzuki-gun were able to put Bullet Club on submission, but it was Taichi who was the legal one, and he put his Yato in a submission, allowing him to win. However, when this whole thing with the Iron Fingers come about, all bets are off. Now we get to the first elimination match between, we got Bullet Club members Geto, Taichi Shimuri, Yujiro Takahashi, Kenta, and Evil. Now, JY was supposed to be in this, but he's not going to be around, so Geto took his place. Taking on Chaos, Yoshihashi, Tomohiro Ishii, Minoru Hiroki Goto, Toru Yano, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, each of these people have a certain thing what they're going to do. As you know, Yoshihashi, Goto, and Ishii are the current never openweight 6-man tag team champions. Now, Kenta, along with Taichi and Yujiro, set themselves as the next challengers for those tag team titles. Now, however, Evil wants a piece of Toru Yano, and he wants the trophy, the KOPW provisional, and apparently he wants to humiliate him even more. But we'll see what happens down the line. But the match was intense. Now, as you know, the spoiler Dick Togo is always around, but it did allow them to win the match, because Dick Togo makes sure that his guys will win. And once again, Yoshihashi was so close to winning. If it wasn't for that stick, that bow staff that Kenta stole from him. But Kenta thinks that Yoshihashi's an idiot for not using it. So I don't know how long would it take until Yoshihashi gets it back. But that's going to be interesting. However, Bullet Club won the match. Next, and the main event of this elimination match was LIJ members Bushi, Shingo, Sanada, and Naito taking on the entire members of the United Empire, Ospreay, Hinare, Khan, and Cobb. Now, this match was also intense. As you know, Shingo is now the challenger against Will Ospreay. So he put himself in this. Originally, Will Ospreay wanted Okada, but Shingo put himself in a position where he made some valid points. But he wanted to start out as a champion, proving that this was going to be his moment, to prove that he is not, to prove the doubters wrong. But however, it did not happen. Shingo won the match when he actually applied to it. So basically, this rivalry between LIJ and the United Empire will still continue on all the way to Wrestling Dontaku. So I think that's pretty much it. So let's end the episode with AEW Dark Elevation. Alright, so we got AEW Dark Elevation. First match of the opening match is Zac Clayton. If you guys know who he is Jay Wow's fiance. So now he's using the whole Jersey Shore thing now to get recognition and all that. He's facing off against 10 of the Dark Order. I have to say 10 really impresses me a lot with his powerhouse. Of course, he is negative one's guy, and he's the guy he picked for the 6-man tag team match back in his dad's memorial. But it was a great match. It did show 10 he's gonna be a huge star down the line. So he had to say that's how it goes. Next match we got Hayden Backlund taking on Miro. I can tell you this match was easy. Miro put him in a camel clutch. It's still unclear if Miro's still pissed off that he lost, but we don't know yet what his next move is. We do know he wants to win and get championship gold. But the real question is what he'll be going after, the TNT title or the AEW World title. That's something that it's still unclear yet. Next match is a women's tag team match. We got Tay Conti, Hikaru Shida taking on Catalina Perez and Layla Gray. Another example match, but however, this could be the final time we may see Tay Conti and Hikaru Shida teaming together, because as you guys may or may not be aware, Tay Conti is currently ranked number 1 for the AEW Women's World Championship. But they did win their match, very impressive. But the real question is, when will that match happen? I would love to see it. I hope you guys do too. Next tag team match, we got TH2 taking on Carly Bravo and Dean Alexander. Wasn't too much fond of it, but I'll tell you anyway who won. TH2. Now we get an interview with Thunder Rosa, who is giving her little interview about her tonight's match against Diamante, who Diamante believes that Thunder Rosa doesn't need to speak up for her, but of course Thunder Rosa does speak out for everyone, because you guys know her story and all this other stuff about how she's the best in the world, and that is the reason why. But we'll see that match very soon. Next match, we got Orange Cassidy along with the Best Friends and Chris Sandler taking on John Schuyler. Now, everybody loves Orange Cassidy. For a fact he's going to put his hands in his pockets, but Schuyler will do whatever it takes to ensure that doesn't happen, but it did. But it did allow him to win his match when he pulled off this driver move. I forgot what he called it. And, of course, he continues with being the king of sloth. I love it. I love Orange Cassidy, so he won his match. Then we see a little backstory of the rising star with Sean Dean. If you guys don't know who he is, Sean Dean, he was the recent signee with AEW, but before that, he was in the military with the U.S. Navy. He wanted to be wrestling, but according to what he said, I did not know, he got fired from his previous job a week before he got signed, which was crazy. But he's very happy that he's finally get to do what he loves, wrestling and all that, and provide for his wife and his daughter. That is pretty cool out of it. Next match, we got Danny Limelight taking on someone who I did not know who he is until I saw him in photos on AEW for the House Always Wins. We're talking about DDT Wrestling's very own Konosuke Takashita. Now, if you guys don't know who he is close friends with Kenny Omega. He's part of the DDT promotion. He has been champion. He's been in other promotions such as Pro Wrestling Noah and All Japan. But I have to say he's very impressive. I may have seen this guy down the line, but it's going to take me a while to remember. But I have to say it did show. This is what I mentioned a while back with Nico. I told him we don't know for sure if there will ever be a partnership between AEW and New Japan, but we could see a partnership between AEW and DDT. It would make sense if you guys don't know this. Michael Nakazawa is from DDT, and Kenny started in DDT before going to New Japan, but we'll see down the line. But however, he did have an interview with Alex Marvez, but Kenny intervened. It's like he has plans right now, like to take over AEW in his own image. That's what but he wanted Takashita for something else. And I don't think he likes that. But we'll see what happens in Dynamite or so. Next up, we got FTR taking on Jay, Leon, and Midas Blank. I don't know who these guys are, but I'll tell you, FTR won as always. Then we got Death Triangle, Pac and Rey Fenix taking on Vare Virales and Andres. Another example of this match, but you guys can guess right away that it's Death Triangle to win. And of course, they are going to face the Bucks this coming Wednesday for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Next match, we got Dante Martin taking on Baron Black. This was also another impressive match. As you know, not a lot of tag team wrestlers have done single matches, but seeing Dante, he's becoming the exceptional that he can adapt not only as a tag team competitor, but as a singles competitor. As you know, his brother's out for a while, but we don't know when he'll be back, but I can't wait to see him back. But he did win his match with the 450 splash. Next up, we got Britt Baker taking on Sky Blue. She didn't need to do the glove on this one. It kind of was weird. She pinned her with some sort of a driver or something like that. And, of course, Britt Baker wants to prove that she will be number 1 and to get the title because she's currently ranked number 4. Next up, we got the newly formed Splinter faction of the Nightmare Factory. The Factory, consistent of Nick Camarado and QT Marshall, facing off against Andrew Palace and Cole Carter. Once again, we're seeing the more dominant side of these guys of the Factory now that they are taking over the Nightmare, changing the training center back to the Factory. It's kind of interesting how they're going to develop, but we don't know when. This is more of a civil war within itself. Next match, we got Michael Nakazawa taking on Mike Sydal. This was another match that kind of, okay, what's going to happen? But, however, I did not expect that Mike Sydal was going to win when he pulled it off. Even Michael Nakazawa was trying to use the chair on him, but it didn't, the laptop on him. But it backfired on him, and he tried during the post-match to whack him, but Sydal chased after him, and he ran like a chicken. Now, the next match, we got Shayna taking on Layla Hirsch, who's recently been signed to. This was also another impressive match because Layla Hirsch is a different type of breed of wrestler. Nothing compared like the ones we've seen over the years. But she is definitely legit. I was thinking in a way Shayna could win, but I feel like they are giving Layla Hirsch a bit of a chance to be recognized because she comes from an amateur background, which is nothing wrong with it. So it was a lot of interesting to see that, but it was Layla Hirsch who was able to apply the armbar to Shayna not once but twice. First try she tried, but it did not work. Next thing we have is Brandon Cutler taking on Penta Zero M. This was a match that later became more of a message through Penta to the Bucks. As you know, his brother and Pac will be facing the Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team titles this coming Wednesday, which is insane. But you can give credit to Brandon Cutler for putting a lot of effort, but however, Penta was not alone. He had Phoenix and Pac by his side. But, however, message was delivered. But the real question is, what is the Bucks going to do about it? Because I can tell you from story-wise, Kenny doesn't care about Brandon Cutler. But what is the Bucks going to do? Are they going to ignore Brandon Cutler? Well, we'll see what happens. Next match, we got Diamante versus Thunder Rosa. Another hell of a match. I love the Thunder Rosa's ability, how she wrestles. It's so awesome to see her. But I did not expect so much of it because, as you know, recently there was reports coming in that there was backstage heat between Thunder Rosa and Diamante's tag team partner, Ivelisse. We don't know when she'll be back. Hopefully this is just temporary for the time being. But Thunder Rosa continues to impress us when she applied the Fire Thunder Driver on her. Next up, we got Sunny Kiss and Joey Janela taking on the newly alliance form of Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. As you know, these guys have a problem with these guys because they actually had TNT Championship opportunities. and they're trying to set up the message. And the message was received loud and clear. Next match, we got the main event. We got Cesar Bononi and Ryan Mena taking on the Best Friends. Yeah, this is the first match. They're together, and I loved it. Even they were messing around with the gear that belongs to these guys, Chris and Orange Cassidy, which was a lot of fun. But however, I'm just glad that the Best Friends were able to win their match, making their triumphant return after these many months they've been separated. Now, I hope that's pretty much it for all of you guys. Hope you enjoy this episode. Like I said, I apologize that I'm a little behind. I'll do Tuesday Wrestling soon enough. I will try to upload this soon as possible and then upload the other one in the morning. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang!